Today we're going to cover what you need to know when planting asparagus crowns or roots. Let's get started. Asparagus crowns can be planted as soon as the ground is no longer soggy and wet. In our area in the GTA, that typically happens towards the end of March, beginning of April, but you may have to adjust year over year depending on what the season is bringing. They prefer nutrient-dense, rich, fluffy soil. As they are a perennial, they will be coming back year after year, and they do need to have enough nutrients to be supporting them throughout that cycle. They do take quite a bit of work to get started compared to other seedlings, but because they are a perennial, you're only going to need to do the work once. They do best in full sun, but they can also survive and thrive in partial shade. You just may get less of a harvest. So you're going to want to have soaked your roots anywhere from, say, a half hour up to 1 to 2 hours. Ours have probably been soaking now for about 2 hours while we were prepping all the rest of the beds, and that way you can rehydrate them nicely. Today we had topped up our beds with some new soil from Begonias, which is a really beautiful fluffy mix. It has manure, the base of it is worm castings. So typically what you would do is put down a layer of manure or compost. Because ours is all beautiful new nutrient-rich soil in general, we're not going to be doing that today. So for asparagus roots, you're going to want to dig down 6 to 12 inches deep in an existing bed, lay down a layer of compost or manure into a little mound shape, top it with a bit more of the soil from the bed just to create a barrier between the two, and then you're going to want to be laying down the roots spaced at about 18 inches apart, and if you're doing 2 rows you'll also want those about 18 inches apart. So we're going to be laying down about 15 roots today. I'm going to do a slightly staggered formation, possibly planting them a bit tighter than that because we only have a 10-foot run. So let's get started. So with these roots, they're quite long and spindly, and you're going to want to fan them out so that they've got some good distribution, and then lay them over top of the mound, kind of like hairs draping over something. So I'm going to be spacing mine all the way along on these 2 mounds, and then I'm going to cover them all back up again. So we have spaced out our asparagus. I have cheated slightly on some of the spacings, but ideally they're going to want to be 18 inches apart. But it looks like got a few bonus plants in the packages, so I had a few more than anticipated. So I'm going to cover these back over with all of the soil, and then what you ideally will do is mulch, because they do not like to have competition with any weeds or other plants, because they'll be stealing all the nutrients, and these guys need as much nutrients as they can get. So once I've got it covered back over, I'm going to give it a good solid watering, and then I'm going to cover it up with some straw mulch, which is light enough so that the asparagus can get up through, but it will help to suppress all of the weeds and also help retain moisture long term as well. So I'm going to get going on that. So asparagus are a perennial plant, but the first year that you plant the roots, do not expect to get a harvest. They may look delicious, ready to go, but give the plant the time and the breathing room in order to truly establish its root system by not harvesting it in the first year. The second to third year, after that, you can begin to harvest and snip the spears, but the first year, just let it be. Don't disturb it. Year after year, you will want to fertilize the soil again, as it is a very hungry plant, and it won't be a fresh plant with fresh soil every single time this bed is done. It's not going to get disturbed anymore. So you will want to top up with some manure, fertilizer of your choice, compost, whatever that may be. You do want to stay on top of weeding moving forward as well, so that the plants do not have any added competition. So for other plants that you can start well before the last frost date, check out this video here. And for more kid-friendly, nature-inspired activities and Canadian gardening videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.